You won't believe how quickly things escalated in the heat of the moment. When Mona Scott found herself violently colliding with a set, what happened was that Kirk Frost went completely crazy and launched a shocking attack on Mona Scott. Yes, you heard that right. Mona Scott is the powerhouse producer behind Love and Hip Hop. Kirk Frost targeted Mona Scott in a dramatic, jaw-dropping moment that nobody saw coming. How did we go from a typical reality show moment to a full-blown scandal? What caused Kirk Frost, who is known for his normally calm demeanor, to lose it so completely? What's really going on behind the scenes? Why did Kirk snap? And what's next for Mona Scott? Trust me, you won't want to miss this. The shocking truth behind the fight is about to be revealed. Stay tuned for all the crazy details that are still rocking the industry. The world of reality TV is no stranger to drama, but what happened on the set of Love and Hip Hop was nothing short of explosive. Pillar left her physically shaken and emotionally rattled. But that's not even the most shocking part. The incident went viral quickly, generating debates and reactions and a lot of speculation. Fans, the media, and even other celebrities have weighed in on this explosive altercation. What led to this shocking altercation, and what does it mean for everyone involved? All began with a decision that sent shockwaves through the entire Love and Hip Hop universe. Mona Scott, the legendary producer behind the wildly successful franchise, made the bold move to remove Kirk Frost and his wife, Rashida, from the show. If you know anything about reality TV, you'll know that these decisions are never made. Frost, who is known for maintaining his composure in the heat of the moment, suddenly snapped. And when he did, it wasn't just a petty argument. After years of being involved in the show and dealing with the drama surrounding his marriage, we all know that Kirk Frost isn't someone who handles personal slates very well. Therefore, when Mona Scott, the mastermind behind the scenes, decides that a storyline needs to change, it's not just a small shift. It's a massive recalibration of the entire dynamic. For Kirk Frost, this wasn't just a professional setback. It felt like a personal attack. The moment that Mona Scott removed his character and his image was the breaking point. As if the weight of all the tension that had built up over the years finally broke, and the producers and even the audience were taken aback by the decision. Kirk Frost wasn't just another cast member. He was a key player in the ongoing drama. And his turbulent relationship with Rashida, which was full of ups and downs, betrayals, and reconciliation, had kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Removing him and Rashida was a huge gamble. Was Mona Scott losing faith in the show's ability to create drama? Or was this just a way to shake things up? As soon as the news spread, fans were split. Some saw it as Mona Scott abusing her power, and some thought it was a huge mistake that would alienate longtime fans who love the dynamic between Kirk and Rashida. But regardless of how you look at it, one thing is certain. Kirk was furious. This anger wasn't the kind that would be quickly brushed off. You could feel the tension building. And it wasn't just in front of the cameras. This was a deep personal blow, and Kirk wasn't going to let it slide quietly. Now, let's not forget Kirk Frost's lengthy history on Love and Hip Hop. His reputation has always been somewhat of a roller coaster. From his notorious cheating scandal with Mary Jane to his turbulent Kirk Frost had already been at the center of some of the most dramatic moments in the show, whether it was his personal choices, his relationship with Rashida, or his involvement in some of the messiest situations. However, this time was different. It wasn't just a staged argument or a scripted moment. It was real, and it was raw. Scott had just taken things to a whole new level. The decision to remove Kirk Frost and Rashida was a bold one, but the real question on everyone's minds was how Kirk would react. In the weeks before the event, Kirk had been visibly upset. Rumors were circulating behind the scenes, and whispers of a showdown with Mona Scott started to circulate. Everyone knew something was brewing, and it was only a matter of time until that simmering anger boiled over into something bigger. And that's exactly what happened on that fateful day. Tensions reached a boiling point, and what was once an awkward but manageable dispute turned into something far worse. The crew was on edge, the cameras were rolling, and there was no turning back. As a result, the franchise survived without one of its most iconic couples. We'll break it all down for you because the next part of this shocking story reveals exactly what happened when the cameras were rolling. And the true nature of Kirk and Mona Scott's volatile relationship comes to light. What happened exactly? And how did it escalate to the point where Kirk Frost was physically attacking Mona Scott? You'll be shocked to learn just how explosive this confrontation became the moment that shocked the entire industry. It wasn't just Kirk Frost lashing out. It was about everything that led up to it. The frustrations, the buildup, the history, and the buildup. Given the background, let's take a closer look at what actually happened on that fateful day that shocked the love and hip-hop world and made Kirk Frost an overnight viral sensation for all the wrong reasons. This wasn't just a small argument or a heated verbal exchange. Rather, what happened that day went beyond what anyone could have imagined. World was watching, and what they saw was something no one could have prepared for. The tension in the air was evident as soon as the crew set up the cameras, and everyone knew something was going to happen behind the scenes. The rumors, according to sources close to the production team, there were rumors that Kirk Frost would confront Mona Scott. People were on edge because they knew that the decision to remove Kirk and Rashida from the show had caused a ripple effect that would only get worse. However, nobody anticipated that things would get worse the way they did. It seemed like it was just another typical day on set, but Kirk only needed a few casual remarks to snap. Mona Scott was going about her daily business, running the show, and pulling the strings behind the scenes. But she wasn't prepared for the storm that was about to hit her. Before the confrontation, Kirk was already tense and felt betrayed by Mona Scott's decision to remove him from the show. At first, Kirk tried to remain calm and didn't want to start any drama, but the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. After all, Kirk Frost had been a part of the show for years and had helped shape it into what it is now, so it felt like a slap in the face, and no one, not even the legendary Mona Scott, could replace Kirk Frost in the world of reality TV. One crew member who asked to remain anonymous claimed that Kirk started yelling, "You think you can just push me out like I'm nothing? I built this show with my blood, sweat, and tears. You can't just take me out and expect me to walk away like it's nothing." His voice was rising and shaking. What was supposed to be a calm conversation, a professional exchange of words, turned into an emotional outburst. Sources said that Kirk wasn't holding back, and when Mona tried to defend her choice, it was like a fuse was lit. Mona Scott, who is usually a calm and strategic mastermind, is taken aback by Kirk's rage. But that wasn't the only shocking moment. In the midst of the chaos, Kirk Frost reportedly launched a physical attack on Mona Scott, sending her reeling backward. It wasn't just a tap or a casual push. It was a powerful force that sent Mona stumbling. The set, which had previously been a place of casual chatter and controlled chaos, suddenly fell silent. And everyone on set couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. That's not all. The real kicker came when Mona Scott was trying to regain her balance when she slammed into a pillar on set. The loud crack of her head hitting the metal frame was enough to send a shockwave through the entire crew. It was as if time stopped for a moment and the sound reverberated throughout the set, leaving everyone frozen for a moment. It took some time for things to calm down, but Kirk Frost showed no remorse at that moment. According to sources, instead of attempting to assist Mona, he just stood there fuming, his anger taking over. People rushed to check on Mona Scott, who had obviously been dazed by the blow. But the mental and emotional toll of the incident was evident for someone like Mona, who had built an empire on being calm, calculating, and in control. Kirk's outburst wasn't just a personal attack on her. It was a challenge to her authority, and that was something that couldn't be ignored. His own humiliation and pain were evident, and the entire crew wasn't sure how to react. The public's reaction was immediate, as other celebrities shared their thoughts on the situation. Some sided with Kirk, saying that he had every right to be after being kicked off the show, while others sided with Mona Scott, accusing Kirk of being disrespectful to the person who gave him his platform and acting unprofessionally. However, the bigger question was what meant for the future of Love and Hip Hop. Could the show survive this scandal? Was Kirk Frost's behavior a sign that he was truly out of control? The shocking confrontation was only the beginning of a much larger and more complex story that would unfold in the coming weeks. As we wait to see the aftermath of this explosive scandal, one thing is for sure, things on Love and Hip Hop will never be the same. Of course, there were issues behind the scenes, and how would Mona Scott respond? This wasn't just a minor hiccup. It was a massive public relations nightmare that could have long-lasting consequences for everyone involved. The answers to those questions were still unknown. When the dust settles from the shocking altercation between Kirk Frost and Mona Scott, the real question is what will happen next. This scandal isn't just a small blip on reality TV's radar. It's the kind of event that could completely change the landscape of Love and Hip Hop and possibly destroy careers in its wake. After all, this wasn't just a fight between two cast members. It was a full-blown attack that was caught on camera, shared on social media, and analyzed by millions of people. What happens to Kirk Frost, Mona Scott, and even the Love and Hip Hop brand itself after such a huge public scandal? The fallout is still going on, and there are no simple answers in the reality TV industry. But one thing is certain: the effects of this shocking attack are far from over. Let's first examine the immediate consequences. Mona Scott, who is known for her calm demeanor and strategic mind, found herself in the spotlight in a way she never expected. Mona had established herself as the queen of reality TV, but this incident threatened to destroy that carefully crafted image. After the altercation, Mona Scott had to deal with the emotional and physical fallout, but she also had to figure out how to save her reputation. She had been known for years as the brains behind some of the biggest reality TV franchises in history. But her reputation had just taken a huge hit. Her ability to maintain control, keep things moving smoothly, and create drama in front of the cameras was now being questioned. On the other side, Kirk Frost was also at the center of a huge PR disaster because of his actions on that. Despite being an industry veteran, Kirk's actions set a dangerous precedent, and it was obvious that the fallout would be difficult to navigate the legal repercussions. However, beyond the public relations nightmare, Kirk Frost could face serious legal consequences because the altercation wasn't just a minor spat between colleagues. It was a physical assault. Although Mona Scott was lucky not to sustain any serious injuries, the fact remains that Kirk Frost physically shoved Mona, and in doing so, he opened the door. Legal experts speculated that Mona Scott might sue Kirk Frost for assault, especially since the altercation was captured on camera and watched by millions of people in numerous locations. Since physical altercations can be used as evidence in court, Mona might decide that suing Kirk is the best way to protect herself and warn the industry that such behavior won't be accepted. Of course, Kirk Frost could claim that his actions were an emotional outburst brought on by the stress and frustration he had been under if Mona Scott decides to take legal action. It could result in a drawn-out and expensive court battle that could impact not only Kirk's career but the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise. The last thing producers and the network want is to have this scandal tied up in legal proceedings, especially when the show's reputation is already on the line. However, legal experts agree that wouldn't necessarily protect him from legal consequences. The fact that he physically harmed someone on set could still result in charges, whether or not they were intentional. What does all of this mean for Love and Hip Hop? The show has been a mainstay in the reality TV industry for years, but this scandal has opened a new chapter in its history. Will Love and Hip Hop be able to move past this controversy, or will it be the beginning of its downfall? The show's fallout is as complicated as the aftermath for Kirk Frost and Mona Scott. On the one hand, reality TV thrives on drama like this. The more explosive the confrontation, the more viewers pay attention. However, the violence involved went too far. It wasn't just a staged altercation or a flurry of arguments. This was assault. And if the network continues to support Kirk Frost and Mona Scott after this incident, it could send a terrible message to viewers and fans alike. On the other hand, the producers of Love and Hip Hop may decide that it's time for a change and realize that the long-term harm to the brand isn't worth keeping these controversial figures on the show. This incident could result in Kirk Frost's permanent departure from the show. And if the situation worsens, Mona Scott's position may also be in jeopardy. However, there's always the chance that the producers will play into the drama and use it to their advantage. Social media played a significant role in the aftermath of this scandal. The public's reaction to the altercation was immediate, with fans, celebrities, and media outlets jumping in to share their thoughts on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Hashtags like hashtag Kirk Frost versus Mona Scott and hashtag Love and Hip Hop scandals started trending. After all, controversy sells, and if they can make this scandal a part of the new season's plot, it could lead to higher ratings and more viewership, but it comes at a cost to the show's reputation as well as to the individuals involved. Some fans were quick to take sides, believing that Kirk Frost had every right to be upset because Mona Scott had wronged him by removing him from the show. They sympathized with his frustration, while others were appalled by his violent behavior and felt that there was no justification for him touching Mona Scott. They demanded that justice be done and that he be fired from the show. Of course, some fans were only interested in the drama and didn't care who was right or wrong. They just wanted to watch the mayhem. These fans claimed that this type of drama was exactly what made Love and Hip Hop so entertaining. And they were eager to see how the producers would deal with the fallout. The fan base was split, and some took sides, while others just wanted answers. Was this another instance of reality TV going too far? Or was there more to it? Could the Love and Hip Hop brand ever move past the scandal, or was this the beginning of the end? What comes next in the story? The world is waiting for Mona Scott and Kirk Frost to make an official statement. Will she try to move on from the incident and bury it? Will Kirk be fired from the show? Will he be permitted to remain a cast member? We want to hear from you, our viewers, about Kirk Frost's explosive attack on Mona Scott. Was it an outburst of frustration, or did he go too far? Should Mona Scott take legal action, or should this be swept under the rug? Will Love and Hip Hop be able to salvage its reputation after this PR nightmare? These are all questions that fans and media outlets are eager to see answered. But one thing is for sure. The fallout from this shocking incident is far from over. The industry is watching, the public is waiting, and the future of both Kirk Frost and Mona Scott remains uncertain as this shocking saga continues to unfold. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts on this intense drama. If you're shocked, please like this video and subscribe to keep up with all the juicy, scandalous stories as they happen. I promise you won't want to miss what happens next in this reality TV meltdown, so stay tuned for more breaking news is not yet finished. I'll see you at the next one.